Well, thank you for being here today. I'd like to focus a little bit on AI, if that's all right. So CRS's modernization initiatives as it relates to AI, can you tell us more about the working group and particularly the work in exploring how AI might be used to expedite bill summary process?
Yes, absolutely. We're very excited about artificial intelligence, but like everyone, we're moving cautiously to ensure that any information that we get from AI meets all of our standards of nonpartisanship, authoritativeness. So we have a number of things in place right now. The working group looks for opportunities in CRS processes for short, medium, and long-term projects that we might use. We also coordinate very closely with the library's Office of CIO with their AI working group. So right now, we have dipped our toe in the water, and one of the things that we're very excited about is a process that we're looking at right now to develop 5 models that would help us with bill summaries. We have a huge backlog of bill summaries and analysis for Congress.gov. So we think there's potential for AI to help us with those summaries. So we are exploring these 5 models as we speak. We have a whole set of criteria that have to be met. And our hope is that we can implement this soon so that our staff can spend more time on the analysis, which is the really hard work, and less time on the summaries. But at the same time, we have to be absolutely assured that information is of very high quality. You may be familiar with the effort that Politico did recently with AI, and we actually took some of the examples just to kind of see if they were accurate, and they did not pass the test. So this is a good caution for us to ensure that we always have the best data available.
Well, I mean, it's definitely something that, I think it's finding its way into members' offices and with the staff. But so another question, how is CRS making members and their staff aware of its new visually based products?
We're doing several things. At the present time, we are doing new work on our CRS website for members and staff. And we've been doing some development. I decided that we needed to take kind of a harder look at this, do some more consultation, and one of the things that we want to feature prominently are infographics, interactive graphics, and storybook maps. So that's going to be one of the primary ways. We also have a number of outreach efforts that we do through our divisions to client bases. They send out weekly information about new reports that CRS is doing in areas that they're interested in, and we feature those topics or feature those kinds of products with infographics. But one thing that would be helpful to us is we would like your help as well. If there's any kind of forum where CRS can be to talk about our services, to talk about the kind of innovative products that we're offering Congress, we would be very, very grateful.
And I would add to that, I came in a special election. Now I'm former staff. I was a staff, and then I hate to say when I was a staff, but a long time ago. The thing that the services that you provide are remarkable, and we've have a number of members that have left, and we've got a bunch of new members that are going to be coming in as special elections, and so however we can work with your offices, because the thing about when you come in as a special election, all your staff you don't have any staff,
Right.
and but as you start getting those team members that come in and join your team, it would be great to work with your office to make sure they're well aware of the services and the things that you provide. So
Absolutely, and we would be very happy to work with your office to give you a really in-depth orientation as we would give any new member.
I'm more concerned about the ones that are coming in the future, because I know we've talked about this. I know the chairwoman and I have about orientation, and when you're in a special election, you don't have that. You know, it's just like, here's your hat and what's your hurry, right? So as we bring these new members in, I would like very much to make sure they coordinate with you. So.
Well, this is something at the front of our priorities right now, and that is the new member seminar that we work with the committee as soon as the new members are inducted. We take them to Williamsburg, Virginia, and have 3 days of policy seminars, discussions about legislative process and procedure, budget process. It provides an opportunity for members to get to know CRS staff and their capacity, and there's no one else present for distractions, no staff, no press. It's a very, very good program.
I'd be remiss if I did not ask this question.
Yeah.
But what other areas that you guys are doing? I know you've done a lot with AI, you've done a lot with the visually, but in terms of cost savings as it relates to your organization, improved efficiency, what are some of the things that you're doing with CRS?
Well, thank you for asking that question, and I did not answer Mr. Kilmer's question very thoroughly, so I'm glad that you've posed it. So when I started at CRS, I had 13 focus groups within the span of 5 weeks, where I met with staff in an informal situation and this is the question I posed to them: what is it that I can do in the short time that I'm here to help you better serve the Congress? And they came through with a lot of different ideas. For those that didn't want to participate in a forum, I encouraged them to send emails, and I got 400. So I took all of that information and started looking at what are low-hanging fruits in terms of efficiencies that we can get. And I'll give you a couple examples. So the staff were using a Zoom account, which, our bread and butter is, consultations with members and staff, whether it's in person or virtually. So they unfortunately had the lowest priority Zoom account. So at 40 minutes, it would cut off. They'd have to go back. Well, you can imagine the embarrassment if you're doing this with a member of Congress. So within a week, thanks to our the library's technology office, everybody in the service has a Zoom that needs one, has a Zoom Pro account. The other thing that I discovered was actually two other things. Because we have so many deadlines, and one of our hallmarks is responsiveness, there was a lot of concern about IT support in our divisions and offices, and frustration with getting things resolved very quickly. And everything we do is deadline driven. So, if your printer isn't working, your software isn't working, we use all kinds of different software throughout the service depending on the policy need. So we did a pilot where we embedded technicians in the service unit and the offices, and I can say that it's been 100% successful. Good. And it has reduced the time in terms of efficiencies and the frustration that our analysts, attorneys, and librarians have in getting their problems resolved. The other thing which has been wonderful was a big complaint was cell coverage. And I'll give you one example that I think is very graphic. I was walking by an office of one of our government and finance analysts who routinely does briefings for members. And I saw that she had her cell phone hanging like on the hinge of her door. And I said, Val, what's going on here? She said, well, that's the only place in the office that it'll ring. And I said, you can't be serious. So she said, yes, when I answer it, I stand there and then I tell the person I have to go out so that I can call you back. Well, that was ridiculous. So again, working with Judith Conklin and John Rutledge in our Office of CIO, They've done all kinds of things to upgrade that, Wi-Fi extenders, which has, again, improved efficiency and also improved morale.
Well, and just to go back to your thing, if for some reason you're on a Zoom and you cut off after 40 minutes, I'm a firm believer that the mind can only handle what the seat can bear, so that 40 minutes time frame is probably not a bad thing. So, but with that, I really appreciate your testimony. I had an opportunity to read through it, and thank you for being here today. And with that, Madam Chair, I yield back.